you who've been interacting with CIO since last year, especially from an insurance perspective, you do recall that we had our first InsurTech session then. And what we wanted to do was just to have a feel of what the insurance industry in Kenya feels about technology and what are their plans around digital transformation in that space. Because today, in order for any business to survive, technology has to be a core part of your business. So how much are you investing? What are your innovation plans around insurance? Have you thought about it? Do you have a strategy? How well are your staff members prepared? Are you going to be able to deliver as quickly as possible to your customers? So we have an exciting session lined up for today. And today we have two speakers with us. We have Julius Orayo, and Julius is the head of digital innovation at Jubilee Insurance. He's the group head. And then we have Elias Omondi, who's an actuarial expert, and Elias is with Insurance Regulatory Authority of Kenya. As usual, some housekeeping rules. Please note the chat window is for all of us to engage, the public chat window. Please post your questions in the Q&A window, and then we will have our two speakers go through your questions and answer them after their presentations. And then if you have, if you can't hear anything or if you're having any issues, just let us know through the public chat window if you can't see the presentation, and then we are here to support you from the back end. With the current pandemic ongoing, we know that health insurance and insurance generally is a big deal. So let's hear some of the things that the insurance industry has been looking at. Of course, we've all been hit hard by this, but we know that we have to adapt and we should be able to embrace what is happening because life must go on. So to kick us off will be Julius. Julius will go through his presentation first, and then we'll have Elias who will present after that. I will come in after Julius and recap some of the things that Julius has said, and then Elias will go through his presentation, and then after that we can have our question and answers. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I look forward to a very exciting and engaging session, as you always are, and we hope that we'll be able to walk away from here with something. Welcome, Julius.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's nice to have you back. We'll try to at least keep time. So I've got 20 minutes. Mine is desperate to go back to 3 years ago. In 2017, there is a time I was having a discussion with some managers. And so we were asking ourselves, how will it look like in 2020? So just recently, in the month of February, I also took the same slide and I told them, how do you compare what we were discussing that time in 2017 compared to right now, what's happening here, within our markets? So I'll just start with that particular slide, thinking of what exactly are the industries that were going to be disrupted by 2020. That was the kind of question we were asking ourselves. So when we looked at them, the first one, of course, which was very obvious, was insurance. So at that time, they said yes, but we'll take a long time before we can really be disrupted. So 2020 was still too ambitious for them. And then the next item we talked about was weddings. When I told them about weddings, they in fact laughed. But I'll tell you exactly what's happening in those particular spaces. And then we have got classroom education. They also laughed and said, Julius, you're talking of 2030, not now. And then we also spoke about health screening, then they slow. But you'll be surprised that things that we thought could take years have basically been disrupted in a span of less than 2 months in the East African market. I've not heard of any wedding, but very soon we'll be having weddings on Skype, on Zoom, on the other online platforms. Classrooms, all our kids right now are at home. In fact, every morning I sit with my daughter, she's attending her class, but I'm also attending meetings from the office. So already classroom education is being disrupted. There's also health screening. And right now we've got a lot of online apps for telemedicine. No one ever thought. Doctors were very, very resistant to telemedicine. But with just COVID-19, everyone is already using the platform for telemedicine. And life is not going to go back. Law, we now have lawyers who are able to attend court sessions, magistrates attending court sessions on Zoom, on Skype. And those are things that we never thought that they could be disrupted. But again, they're driven by a number of technologies in the back end. So I'm going to see a lot of, this kind of disruptions in the market, even outside the 4 industries, the 5 industries that I basically spoke about at that particular time. What about in the insurance sector? How do you see ourselves in the next 5 years? So I'm looking at a scenario where the sector will be ruthless and predictable. So what about in 2025? What exactly will be happening in the insurance sector? So we'll be having a sector that is ruthless and predictable, rapid than ever. No one will be, the issue of this is an insurance company and I expect to get insurance from an insurance company will be things of the past. We already have online, shopping platforms which also offer insurance, which we never thought of. Okay, right now you can go and buy a ticket from a bus company, and within the ticket you already have insurance. So the boundaries for insurance are going to be basically blurred. We expect to see value being added by the partners we use. So you're going to be buying a product called insurance. You'll be buying what you need, a solution that you need, but in the back end, you basically have a layer of insurance coming in. So it's the partners that will be using that will be adding value in the whole supply chain. So we also will be looking at a machine-to-machine kind of transactions where human beings will be very used. And so we'll be looking at a lot of investments in the digital ecosystems. So, and what we currently have, where we have manual paper-based kind of legacy systems, little focus on the customer, and then companies right now, waking up to try to innovate, but then also lacking direction in terms of where do we innovate. And we want to see a lot of confusion in the insurance sector, where we be confused on how to handle the new breed of customers who have a lot of information. They know what they need. So we have to be very innovative to give them what they need. The partners who want to add a different set of value, which insurance has never ventured into. And even our own staff will be having different needs. So I'm looking at a scenario where even after COVID is gone, I don't think to sit in the office and work from morning up to evening. When I look at that particular sector, what I see is a scenario where already the trends are showing that there'll be a lot of investments in fintechs and insurtechs. There'll be a lot of product innovation. There'll be investments in AI and machine learning. There'll also be investments in the data. We also will be looking at by 2035, 39, around there, Africa will be having the largest population in the whole world. Can you imagine when we say that we will be number 1 in the whole world? We'll be having 50% plus 1 of the world's population. That is young and also very energetic, that can work so well. So, and which also means that our current and future customers will be changing completely. So this is a market that really is going to change how we do, how we do our business. So I've already talked about investments in insurtechs, investments in fintechs. These are going to change how we do our business. So insurance is no longer going to be just driven by the traditional thinking that we must always have traditional underwriter, traditional needs, and traditional kind of. So models of how we do it will have to change. Platforms will change. I'm also, I look at it in terms of the future is going to be bright for insurance companies, because we can see positive GDP except for the corona issues that we had. But then there'll be product innovation coming through, regulatory changes which are really helping us. I mean, the regulator has been, in fact, among has been championing for innovation, where they have even invested on a lab that can really help the sector to move quickly. Rising consumer demand that we have to evolve very quickly. So and also, of course, investments in technology. I can tell you, every insurance company in Kenya is now what you can call a digital department, which shows that at least we're waking up to what the market needed. So I'll skip technology because I've just handled that one, and I also spoke about 2035. Among the things I may need to show is that Nairobi and Lagos are going to be the economic hubs for the region, for Africa. So basically, then we'll be also looking at a region that will be so powerful in terms of the economic power as the growth potential that will be existing at that particular time. And now, looking at what exactly is going to change to make sure that the insurance company then changes in how they handle their business. So there will be use of data and machine learning. There will be the use of infrastructure as a service, cloud and software as a service. Usage-based insurance will also manage how we handle our business. We also will be looking at Internet of Things. Digital and robo-advisory, that's the digital workers will replace the human beings. So human beings will start doing other works, like analytics and the likes. So we'll be looking at partners adding some form of gamification in what we do, because insurance has always been known to be very boring. So with gamification, we believe this is going to really change how we do things. There'll be focus on blockchain because of transparency in what we want to do, and also the security elements. Then microinsurance, where people want to get quick products that they can easily afford. I'll talk quickly about big data and artificial intelligence and machine learning. So basically, AI is going to help us in diagnostics. So you can imagine, when I look at where we are, the non-communicable diseases, we expect to manage these diseases by 2030. So think of people who have diabetes, hypertension. Right now, people are really taking care of their health. They want to run for at least cover 5,000 steps a day. So the insurance role is already shifting from compensation to prevention. In fact, if I look at the companies that are already offering like medical insurance, a number of them already are offering some form of wellness programs, which used to be exclusions in the past. And I've also seen a number of companies investing in chatbots. And then I'm also looking at a situation where by 2030, and thanks for COVID, we are likely to have a cure for cancer and even HIV before that time. So our different kind of focus will be a different kind of threat, like COVID, or maybe something else may come in. But then with use of big data, artificial intelligence, and machine learning, we'll be able to manage those. And so the focus of insurance is really going to change in terms of what kind of benefits do we want to give the customers out there. Is just treatment, or a lot of focus will move to prevention. Now, when I talk of wearables, imagine of a scenario where when you wake up in the morning, as you're driving to the office, what will happen is the Fitbit you are wearing, and also the smart clothes you are wearing, can be able to tell you that your temperature is very high, book for you an appointment with a doctor, and immediately tell you that this is the time the doctor is available, and from your smart car, take you to the hospital that you are supposed to see. And if it realizes that you are likely to have a heart attack, then it will be able to immediately alert all the parties that are involved. We have companies that are already investing in this. We've got like Under Armour, who are investing in smart clothes. And so we expect that by 2025, will be, in 3 years' time, the wearables are going to double. In 3 years' time. But then by 2025, they'll be overtaken by smart clothes. So you can imagine our ladies will be wearing their smart bras, which can tell them that they are likely to have cancer, breast cancer, in 3 or 10 years' time. So then when you are doing your risk assessment, you basically know who is likely to have and what kind of preventative mechanisms can you put in place for such kinds of customers. So the model in terms of how we assess risk and manage risk will be very, very critical. And also, how do you make sure that then continuity in the service you give is assured? So the other items, again, you'll be looking at is Internet of Things will also basically will be having more Internet of Things connected than people. So your fridge will be able to alert an insurance company that there was a power surge, and so the all risks cover needs to kick in, and the insurance company is able to send a repairer to come and replace the power unit that blew, and in the process you get it replaced. You don't have to lodge a claim with an insurance company. So all these gadgets are really going to change how insurance companies take on risks, as well as how they service the customers. Talking of the next item, which was on digital and robo advisory. Now, if I look at some of the chatbots that we have, you can ask a chatbot, give me my member statement, or give me do with, let's say, my policies for the last 5 years. And the chatbot will go and generate all those documents. So in the process, basically what you're doing is you're replacing what human beings can do. Now, I've already seen digital workers, and companies are now investing in digital workers that can go and reconcile your data statements. They can go and capture your claims, can auto send emails, can call a customer and tell them exactly what they, give them advice on whatever is needed. Smart contracts will come in. So, and these are things that I think we used to think that they are so off, but they are already right now happening. In fact, I've had like 3-5 demos of use cases based in the Kenyan market where a digital worker can be put in place. And I think a number of companies now are really looking into having digital workers, especially now with the COVID. And you'll be surprised that, you have got one digital worker who works day in, day out. At night when you're asleep, the digital worker is busy working, finishes claims registration, goes to start issuing policies for motor, renewing policies that are due for renewal. So these are, things which don't get tired. They're intelligent and they learn based on what you give them. And then the other thing that will be coming in is gamification. So what I see is a scenario where people are going to change how we sell insurance, how we service insurance. So imagine if I created a game on my phone, and that game is on how to drive. And then as I drive, it's a game that I can use to drive. As I drive and share, depending on how good I brake, on how good I overtake cars, it's just a game in my phone. And then the same game, I can pair it with my telematics device. So if I pair with my telematics device, and then as I'm driving, it's also able to record how my driving was. And then in the process, I earn discounts. So you see, that way you're starting the concept of insurance from a game kind of perspective, and then you're moving the customers into the game that they know, into what they do on their day-to-day. And then after that, you are able to now add value and give them a discount, get to know what they like. And then now the next time you have another game on, let's say, how many fruits did you eat yesterday or today? How many meters you covered, steps you covered in a day, and there are particular discounts you are getting when you do this, and you are able to also get a cover. Then it becomes something that becomes part of and parcel of the insurance that we cover. So I see them coming quite up very soon, and a number of companies, I can assure you, here in this region have invested in that. The next part of insurance is peer-to-peer. So what I can say here is you imagine of a scenario where today, if I'm making a fridge or I'm sampling a fridge, I have a cover for, it will come with a cover for, let's say, all risks. In case there's a power surge or whatever, it can cover that. But then again, there's another insurance company that already has a product which covers food items. So if they get spoiled, again, you get compensated for it. So in that particular case, then they allow that they have a platform which they can share. So when you have a platform that you can share, you have already, as one is paying for, because there was a power surge, the other one is already paying for the product insurance, because the products are already talking to each other, and they are able to share whatever is required. So I'll go to the last one, and that's on blockchain. So this is the new kid on the block. I've seen a number of companies that are already investing in this. So we do expect to see, and what I expect to see is one company that's going to come with a blockchain technology for insurance, a platform for blockchain. For example, it can be for motor, because they are already, we have got a unified platform for sharing motor information. They can be platform for life insurance, a platform that also connects with, let's say, the births and the deaths registry. There will also be a platform for connecting schools, and these are things that we expect to come through. So I think, in my view, this is what is really going to change how we do business, and the time is now. It's not going to take long. It's just now, and I hope by the time COVID is out, we're able to go back to work. These are the things that we take as normal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Julius. Yeah, and thank you for that interesting session. It's so interesting to hear that insurance is looking for fun in terms of gamification. That I can't wait to see. You are known as the boring people. So I'm sure everybody here is looking forward to that. It's also very good, and it's actually comforting to know that there are actually labs, innovation labs that have been open, and there's a digital departments in most of the insurance companies in Kenya, because there's nothing as good as self-service from an insurance perspective. And then in the next 5 years, our wearables will be able to predict our health. This is amazing. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, we thought insurance was the stepchild, but it looks like you guys are going to leapfrog and go ahead of us and shock the world. So, we do look forward, and we'll be walking this journey with you, holding you accountable. And I think insurance is going to be the friend of many of us. Yeah. So thanks a lot for that, Julius. Elias, we are waiting for you. We hope you blow us away in the same way. Take it over. The mic is yours now. Thanks.
Thank you very much. I think from what we've heard from Julius, I think it's exciting to basically say that the insurance industry is ready for this tremendous transformation. And ideally, from where this particular industry has been taken in the past, we really need to come in a big way in terms of basically transforming the future of insurance. I'll basically divide my presentation in different fronts, starting from where we are facing challenges as an industry. It will be quite important, basically, to look at where are we not really ticking as an industry, and how then do we take that particular challenge and turn those particular challenges into opportunities, and thereafter look at the key issues that we need to note as an industry and conclude. I usually put this as a disclaimer in that some of the views that I'm going to, it will be great to take that into cognizance. Now, just basically experiencing as an industry, one of the challenges that we should be able to appreciate is the issues around accessibility. And one thing that you'll recognize is that the insurance industry in Kenya has been so much engrossed into the traditional channels in terms of providing insurance services. And we've seen new channels coming in that are currently spearheaded by use of technology such as internet channels. There are also some limitations that arise out of those particular traditional channels that the new channels are trying to address. With these new particular channels that we are experiencing, then we are going to improve inclusion of insurance services. Another thing that we've seen as a challenge is credibility in terms of claims disputes, in terms of what sales disputes that has been arising out of things such as mis-selling, delay of payment of premium. So this kind of really impacts the credibility of this particular service. Therefore, there is need to improve our credibility as an industry. And this can be accessed through different platforms, either through insurance education, which it will be great to take that into cognizance. Now, just basically experiencing as an industry. One of the challenges that we should be able to appreciate is the issues around accessibility. And one thing that you'll recognize is that the insurance industry in Kenya has been so much engrossed into the traditional channels in terms of providing insurance services. And we've seen new channels coming in that are currently spearheaded by use of technology such as internet channels. There are also some limitations that arise out of those particular traditional channels that the new channels are trying to address. With these new particular channels that we are experiencing, then we are going to improve inclusion of insurance services. Another thing that we've seen as a challenge is credibility in terms of claims disputes, in terms of what sales disputes that has been arising out of things such as mis-selling, delay of payment of premium. So this kind of really impacts the credibility of this particular service. Therefore, there is need to improve our credibility as an industry. And this can be accessed through different platforms, either through insurance education, which the insurance regulator has been trying to conduct a number of sensitization across different part of this country in terms of spearheading and telling the public what insurance is and what they can benefit out of this particular service. There's also need to think about the business models. The business models are kind of misaligned to consumer needs. There's need to look at what do these particular customers need. It's not a matter of just developing a product and having to perceive what these customers do need. So there's need to do a proper customer journey. There's need to ideally look at what are the needs of our customers and develop solutions around their needs. So how can we bring the customer at the center to develop the products with the companies that do provide these particular services? We also need to look at issues around profitability. I think over the last couple of years, we've seen a decline of profitability in this market, and ideally, it's highly connected to the business models. If we kind of improve on the business models that can reduce the leakages around the entire value system or the entire value chain of the insurance process, then there is where we can ideally bring elements of profitability. Tech integration in terms of the industry strengths and practices is something that we highly need to bring into perspective. We need to integrate and embrace technology in terms of what we do as an industry. This also poses a number of challenges, and in terms of the practices that companies need to undertake. So it's something that I think ideally will kind of have a very big impact on terms of the way we do our businesses. Now, outside this particular ecosystem, there are things that also will kind of push and kind of increase these particular challenges. One of the things is around the market environment. The economic environment and the competition inside the industry has been something that has really made companies do face a number of challenges. Competition is good, but if competition do not really adhere to some of the key principles that need to be adhered with, then it really means that it kind of exposes a number of areas within this particular sector. Technology revolution and technological risks, such as cyber risks, is something that also we have to be aware of. And we cannot really say that we won't really innovate around this particular service, but we have to be cognizant of these particular challenges that are likely to impact businesses. Consumer demand in terms of consumer behaviors have really changed. Insurance accessibility needs to be improved. That is something that has to be done, and that can only be done by looking at what does future of this particular industry, how do we perceive it to be. The next thing that we also need to look at is the value of insurance industry in the area of inclusive finance. We need to look at the lower pyramid of the curve. How then do we also provide a service, the normal mwananchi, as we basically term them here in Kenya? How do we ensure that we provide an inclusive, accessible, and efficient service to various policyholders that are suffering within the lower value chain? Existing technological applications need to be further improved to assist customers in terms of obtaining these particular services. At the moment, one thing that we also need to look at as an industry, the insurance industry needs to focus more closely on customer needs. We need to provide differentiated products and services. We need to expand our insurance coverage and further enrich our insurance service experience. I know there are clear examples that have been provided by Julius.